know what you're all wondering. Mrs. Beam, how do I know how big to take my sections when I blow dry? Great question. Let's find out.
And I'm going to take sections probably as wide as my brush. As long as they're about as wide as my brush, I'm good.
Okay, so now you know, the size of the section of hair you'll use depends on the width of your brush. The smaller your brush, the smaller your section. What other tips do you have for blow drying?
Keep in mind, whenever I'm in here with my brush and my blow dryer, the air is always directed down to the ends. It always starts at the roots to the ends. My blow dryer should always be moving, and that's going to prevent any burns from happening. If I had this on the heat setting that it is and left it in one spot, it will get very hot for my client. So I always want to keep the blow dryer moving and to be blow drying down to the ends of the hair.
Okay, Mrs. Beam, I understand that I always have to be directing the hair toward the ends, but why? Do you just give us these rules to make things harder?
Talking about how the cuticle scales lie flat on the hair. Well, if I'm ruffling up the cuticle scales by going up this way, this is going to be very fuzzy hair. So make sure your air is always being blown from the roots to the ends.
But Mrs. Beam, how do I avoid getting splits in the hair when I blow dry?
Make sure, especially depending how long you've left this in the part, you're going to want to make sure that you can comb these two sections in the middle together. Otherwise you end up with the hair splitting in here and you don't get a nice continuous line.
What if I'm applying product like gel or mousse to the hair? Is there a specific way I should do that?
Again, you don't really want this product to be sitting on the scalp. That's not where we need it. We want this hair distributed. We want the product distributed evenly through the hair. So I put the product on my hand, I rubbed my hands together, and then took it through all on the scalp.
Mrs. Beam, you know my time is valuable. How can I make sure that it doesn't take me too long to blow dry the hair?
Cut down the time it's going to take you to blow dry simply by going through and taking out about 60% of the water that's on that hair. You're going to want to dry, keep the blow dryer in here, drying it at the roots in there, taking out any excess water here, just getting it to a damp stage.
Remind me again, Mrs. Beam, why I should use the cool air button on my blow dryer?
Once this section is done, make sure you go through it with that cool air just to close the cuticle and add a little bit more shine to the hair.
Do you have any other great tips for us?
You may want to practice before you ever turn the air on, being able to put the hair and the brush back and forth like this. As much as you can avoid putting down the brush, putting down the blow dryer to get your sections right, the better. So make sure you can do this. Use the brush and the length here of the blow dryer to go in and blow dry the hair.
One more thing. How do I keep the hair that I'm not using out of the way?
You want to re-clip this every time to keep that hair out of the way. If I didn't clip this, it's going to fall down and keep getting in the way.
Well, that's it for now. The full-length DVD is much more detailed, but these basic tips should get you started.